Hello everyone, welcome to this session on environment and ecology, where we are going to discuss the strategy for UPSC Prelims. I'm Krishna. These are the ways to reach me out on email, Instagram, and Twitter or X as they call it. I am currently pursuing my PhD in IIT Bombay. So this is about me, briefly about me. I'm teaching environment since last 4 5 years now. It is out of interest as well as it is something I think is essential. It is added in UPSC syllabus for two reasons. One is obviously you should study environment for two reasons. First reason is obviously it is in your UPSC syllabus, right? But the second more important reason is why UPSC has added environment and ecology is because ultimately your life is defined by the environment you live in, right? There is many times of hypothetical question. Let's say if Elon Musk was born in Kenya, or if he was born in Bangladesh, would he be able to build the empire that he has built today? It is a pertinent question that researchers are looking into, okay, whether your environment matter or not. This environment is obviously having a social, economical context in it, but one thing is for sure about which researchers have no question is your ecological and natural environment matters a lot in how you live your life. The quality of life is better if your environment is better. You must have seen that if you feel bored, if you are bored with your life, let's say you're bored with your preparation, and if you go just for one day on a trek in a natural setting, you'll feel refreshed. Therefore, having a clean and good environment is essential for a well-being of a human being. But with the last few years, with industrialization and everything, environment is getting polluted, and there are a lot many environmental issues. And as a future bureaucrat, one of the most challenging thing to tackle for you will be to look at the environment. You should have the understanding of environment. You should be able to make sure that your policy outlook is having the environmental angle in it. Angle of sustainability is there in your approach. Therefore, to ensure that UPSC has included environment and ecology both in prelims and mains syllabus, so that the future bureaucrat are aware of the environmental issues, are aware of the solutions that are currently being implemented, and have some thoughts about what needs to be done in future. I hope it's clear. Now, remember, now coming, it's little philosophical level. Now let's come to the practicalities of the subject. If you want to excel in environment and ecology, or in that case any subject for UPSC, there are two important pillars which you should have command on. First of them is syllabus. Remember, syllabus, and obviously second is PYQs. I will just tell you here only, not keeping any suspense. See, syllabus and PYQs are like a track of a train. This is your track of UPSC journey. Have you ever seen a train which is running on highways or is running in a area where there are no train routes, right? Obviously, it won't happen. Trains are always on track. So if you want to make sure that UPSC journey that you are following is on track, you need to have understanding of these two things, syllabus and PYQs. From my experience, now I am in teaching field from last 4 5 years, and before that I was in a preparation phase for 3 4 years. So in and around 7 8 years I am in the UPSC field. And from my experience, if I ask any aspirant, do you have the clarity of syllabus, they will say yes. If I ask you, do you have a clarity of syllabus, you will probably say yes, I know the syllabus. But do you really know it? For example, if I ask you right now, there is a syllabus point NGOs in your UPSC syllabus, or there is a syllabus point integrity in your UPSC ethics syllabus, right? What does it mean? What are all the aspects that are there given in the syllabus? What are the key points about NGOs that is mentioned in the syllabus itself? Very few people will be able to tell. If I ask you right now, it is in front of you, but if the syllabus is not in front of you, would you be able to tell what is the points in environment syllabus? Here are 3 points, right? How many of you knew that there are 3 sub-points in environment syllabus in UPSC prelims, or there were 4 sub-points in UPSC main syllabus? Very few will know. Therefore, just saying that I know the syllabus versus actually knowing the syllabus have two different aspects to it, are two completely different things. So you have to make sure that you have a very good clarity about the syllabus of all the subjects. For now, we are going to get that clarity of environment, and similar approach you can have to have the clarity of other parts of the UPSC prelims as well as main syllabus. If you look at the prelim syllabus, there are three topics, but they are, you might think it's only three, but they are actually a very in-depth points. Why? First is general issues on environmental ecology. This is such a broad topic. General issues, it can be anything. It can be pollution, it can be ocean acidification, it can be global warming, it can be anything that you can think of regarding the environment. So any issue related to environment will be there, that can be asked in prelim syllabus. Next is biodiversity. Bio, see, whenever you are studying, you need to understand the meaning of the word. Biodiversity composed of two words, bio plus diversity. Diversity means variety, and bio means living. So variety of living organisms is called as biodiversity. Okay. Next is climate change. Climate change fundamentally represents the change in climate. But for that, you need to understand what is climate. For you to understand climate, you first need to understand what is weather. Have you heard the word weather? What is the spelling of weather? I'm always confused between weather and weather. Right? This is the correct spelling then. Okay, perfect. So what is weather? Weather is a environmental conditions around you. Conditions around you. So weather will encompass what is the temperature in your area, what is the amount of rainfall, what is the humidity. All these factors will be considered when you check the weather. You can just open the weather app in your mobile and you will see all these factors, right? Temperature, rainfall, humidity, etc. But weather always calculates the short-term climatic conditions. Remember, short-term. So weather might have a very high fluctuation. For example, today there might be zero rainfall and tomorrow there might be heavy rainfall. So it is very common to have variations in weather, right? For example, today the temperature might be 28 degrees centigrade. Tomorrow it might drop to 21 degrees centigrade. So this day-to-day changes in temperature or rainfall or humidity, that is weather condition, is not a problem at all. But there is something called as climate. What is climate? Climate is a long-term average of weather. Long-term average of weather. Okay. What it means? It means, let's take example, India. What is the long-term average of India? By and large, first is there are 4 months of rainfall, right? What we say is monsoon months, right? Then there are 4 months of winter, and then there are 4 months of summer. By and large, in India, you can find this pattern, right? Similarly, you will find average temperature in India. For example, if you take, let's say, Delhi. In Delhi, average temperature in summer is around 40 degrees centigrade. In winter, it is around 15 degrees centigrade, right? So these are the long-term average of the climatic conditions. So what is climate? Climate is a long-term weather of an area. Is it clear to everyone? What is the difference between weather and climate? Yes, no? Very good. Now, this long-term average, if it changes, I already told you, if the weather changes, then it is not a big deal. Today it is 10 degrees centigrade, tomorrow it is 8 degrees centigrade, it doesn't matter, not an issue. But if the long-term pattern of the climate changes, then it is very disastrous for our environment. Not only for environment, for you yourself only. You might have in your lifetime have seen that just 10 years ago, the rainfall was very much predictable. In winter, there were cold waves, right? In summer, there was a high temperature. Now what is happening? In winter, there is rain. In summer, there is rain, right? In rainy season, there is no rain. So this alteration in climate change is a real phenomenon which you can observe in your own daily life. Okay. So that is a problem. And obviously that is what this climate change topic means. Similarly, let's go to UPSC mains. I will not discuss each of the point in detail as today's understanding is more about prelims, but you should still know the main syllabus because there are sometimes overlap between prelims and main syllabus. You should know both the syllabus in minute, even if you are preparing for the prelims. For every subject, for polity, you are preparing for prelims, but you should know what is the main syllabus. Okay. So here the topics are conservation. Conservation means to conserve, to protect. Environmental pollution. What is pollution? What are the types of pollution? How the pollution can be reduced? How government of India works in reduction of or calculation of production pollution. You must have the heard the words like AQI, right? What is AQI? All these things are the part of environmental pollution and degradation. Degradation is more about environmental degradation in terms of, let's say, deforestation, right? Deforestation type of degradation. Degradation means reduction in quality of. So if the quality of environment is reducing, then it is called as degradation. For example, deforestation is an example of degradation. Next is environment impact assessment. It simply means whenever there is a developmental project, what are the consequences of that project? So assessing the consequences of environmental project are called as environment impact assessment. In simple terms, let's take example. Let's say there are two cities, Delhi and Jaipur. Let's say government of India decides to build a highway between Delhi and Jaipur. So obviously this highway is a developmental project, right? So this project will have some environmental consequences, right? There might be some trees in this area. There might be some animals in this area which might be impacted. So environmental impacts. There might be some economic impacts, right? Economic impact. There might be some land here. That land might be diverted from agriculture to the developmental activities. And similarly, there are some social consequences. There might be some villages. Here, there might be a village. Now, if you want to build a highway here, the village needs to be shifted. So that will have social consequences. So any developmental project have some environmental, social, and economic consequences. To assess what are these consequences is called as environmental impact assessment. Got it? So this is how. Now this is just a example of how you should analyze the syllabus. This is how every point of syllabus in mains and prelims should be analyzed by you all. Got it? You might be joined some or other coachings or some place here where the people give a lot of attention to the content, but the basics are always missed, right? So make sure you take this opportunity. Prelims is nearing. The first step is to get clarity about your syllabus. Got it? Now, moving ahead, we talked about the two tracks of a UPSC journey. First track is obviously syllabus that we just discussed. Second track is defined by the PYQs. Now you will say, if I already know the syllabus, why I need to know the PYQs? For a simple reason. See, environment is a big subject. Even if you study for lifetime, it will not end, right? Every knowledge is infinite. Now, what happens? From the PYQs and the syllabus, you get comprehensive understanding. How? From syllabus, you understand the width of a syllabus, width of the subject. It means what all are the areas that I need to prepare. So I need to prepare general issues, biodiversity, climate change, conservation, pollution, degradation, environment impact assessment. This is the width of syllabus. Now, will the width itself work? For example, pollution. If you want to study pollution, you can do multiple PhDs on the pollution, right? You can study lifetime the pollution. So what is the level to which you should study? You cannot study infinitely long time for just pollution topic. So what should be the depth of study? So PYQs help you understand that depth of the study. Let's move ahead. Now you need to understand things about PYQs. Before going into analysis, I want to caution you about something. Also want to have you a clarity of one thought. See, PYQ analysis can be at two levels. One is at micro level and second is macro level. I hope you understand the word micro and macro. Micro means at minute level, at question by question level. So if you see all the question individually, so what is question asking, what are the options given in the question, what I can read more about the options, what is the type of question that was asked, what is the syllabus point from which this question came. All these are the micro level analysis. I would recommend you to do it by yourself. Why? See, in UPSC, you need certain qualities to clear exam like UPSC. What are these qualities? You need to have an analytical skill, right? Analytical skills. You need to have your thinking capacities developed. You should be a thinking animal, right? You should be able to take decision for decision making, right? Decision making. Now tell me, and many more. I have just mentioned few. Now tell me, is there any course in market which will teach you these skills? Yes, no, right? Is there any course? Because I want to join if there is such course which is teaching you these things, right? So see, in learning, there are some things in learnings, there are some things which cannot be taught by someone else. I will give you a simple example. Let's assume you have never ever eaten sugar. No matter how much I explain you, sugar is so sweet and all, no matter how much description I give you, you will not be able to understand how the sugar will test. The simple way is to test you the sugar, right? A more simpler example is, let's say, learning a bicycle. If you want to learn a bicycle, I give you lectures in class, right? How to learn bicycle. I explained you the physics behind bicycle. I explained you what are the different types of bicycle, right? I give you demo. Here I am in the room riding a bicycle, right? I do everything. I took you on a ground. I show you how to ride a bicycle. I am riding. You are seeing me. Will you able to learn the bicycle? Obviously not. So how you will learn? You will learn by doing. Learning by doing. And this is what is missing in many of your preparation. You are dependent on ready-made material. There are thousands of videos on YouTube on PYQs and analysis and all those things, but you never bother to do it yourself. Therefore, the critical skills which are required are never developed in you, right? I will be very honest with you. You might feel bad. You might feel your confidence is getting lowered, but it's okay to know the reality rather than living in a bubble, right? So the truth is that many students don't bother to do it themselves. Therefore, their analytical skills are never developed. Some people ask me, sir, can I just follow the notes of XYZ topper? They are very good. See, the notes are not important. The final product is not important. The process of making the notes is important. How you made the notes, because during that process you learn a lot of things. Similarly, for the PYQs, the final outcome, what is the analysis, is not important. What is important is how you do the analysis. The actual part of doing it will help you learn a lot about it. Just like riding a bicycle. That learning by doing is the best strategy to learn the or to develop the analytical skill. For example, how the analytical skill of the PYQs. So it's my sincere request to you all. You will find many videos on YouTube, right? You might be enrolled in some courses where there will be many videos which will try to serve you ready-made, right? There are many people in UPSC ecosystem who claim that you just attend my lectures and you will not have to do anything. I might be the only teacher who says that even if you attend my lecture, you will have to study at your own. You will have to do your own analysis, right? So that honesty is required from the parts of us as an educator also. So that is why I don't want to tell you that yes, you can just follow the videos that are available, right? At least for microanalysis I will be sharing with you what are the larger picture, what are the general lessons that you should understand by looking at PYQs, that I will be sharing in today's class. But for microanalysis, it is my sincere request, please do it. It will be painful process, but it is worth going through that pain, right? The painful process will be short term. You will be having pain right now to do the analysis, but you will be happy in long term. Got it? Yes, no? There are some people who are asking questions. I agree that some of the questions might be important. Uh, but let me, before going ahead, discuss something important with you, because these questions are coming and which are important questions. But the thing is that I cannot divert from the topic that we are discussing to these questions. For that, I will teach you a technique which will be helpful in your study, not just for this lecture. Meta is asking, sir, is this too late to start it now? Not at all. This is the right time to start. It is not late. This is the right time to start. Now, before moving ahead, some of you are putting some questions in the chat box. Please maintain a distraction journal with yourself. This is the concept of distraction journal. I always have such kind of notepad with me. You can have a small or you can have such bigger one, whatever suits your needs. I don't. It doesn't matter. But have one diary with title distraction journal. What is the purpose of this distraction journal? To put any distracting thoughts on this when you are studying, when you are attending lectures. See, it is very common for human beings to ask the question. You cannot do anything about it. The reason is that human beings work in series. You cannot do parallel. Can you do two things parallelly? For example, uh, you are bicycling and you also want to walk. So obviously, you cannot walk and bicycle simultaneously. Either you have to keep cycling, or you will have to get down from that cycle and walk. You cannot do both the things simultaneously. So therefore, we work in series. So we accomplish task one, then task two, then task 3 and so on. We don't work parallelly कि task 1 and task 2 parallelly चल रही है, ऐसा नहीं होता है. Therefore, whenever you are distracted, you might notice this. Whenever you are distracted, whenever some other thoughts come in your mind, you are not able to understand what you are reading or what you are listening. This is because your mind is diverted to something else. The solution is this distraction journal. What to do? Whenever you are studying and whenever any thoughts come to your mind, write it here. This thought can be related to study. For example, you are studying a topic and you suddenly remember, oh, I have something related to this in other subject. What is that? What is that? I'm not recalling. Should I go and open that book? No, write it down in distraction journal. Right now, for example, there are some very legitimate questions I can see. For example, Manu is asking, what are the important areas in environment? Very important question. But obviously, we are right now studying, discussing PYQs. It is distracting thought. So you have a urge to act on it. It is not uncommon. It happens with everyone. It is a human nature, because you are having a thought that you might forget it. Your mind is constantly telling you, if you don't act on it, you will forget it, right? And due to that FOMO, you tend to act on that activity. It can be anything. It can be, let's say you want to check a price of book on Amazon. Now you are studying, you suddenly, oh, I want to check the price of XYZ book on Amazon. Should I do it right now? And obviously you are studying now, so you will not be able to focus. You will go on Amazon and check it. But if you write it down somewhere, your mind will be knowing that you have written it somewhere and it will not forget, and the thought will come from the mind to the paper, literally. Okay. So use the distraction journal when you are studying, not just in this lecture, but in general, whenever you are studying, attending any lectures or doing self-study, to write any thoughts which are not related to the study. And at the end of your session, you can act on those thoughts. Okay. Moving ahead. Sorry for the divergence from the core topic. Now, as I already told you, the PYQs, I know there are many analysis available. Some are very good analysis, but don't be dependent on those analysis which are available on YouTube or in market. Do it yourself. Your own analysis will help you more than anything. You'll thank me later when you clear the prelims. You will come to thank me that this one decision to do your own analysis, to do the hard work by yourself, has changed your prelims preparation journey. Right? Moving ahead. I'm sorry. Let's look at the macro patterns. Macro I will be teaching you. What are the large picture? What is the large picture? Right? First is, let's analyze the trend of the number of questions that are asked. You will see from 2015, I have compiled 10 years of PYQs, and you will see every year the environment is having significant weightage. If you find out the average, here in 10 years, total 180 questions were asked, right? So the average 18 question everywhere, every year is asked from environment and ecology. That is very, very high number, right? 18 question means 36 marks. Can you imagine the weightage that is there, right? So environment is one of the highest weighted subject. And those of you who watched the video about the announcement of today's session, I talked in that despite the highest weightage, this is the subject which is most misunderstood, right? Why? We will discuss in the slide side, but just keep it in mind. The environment is having one of the highest weightage. Those of you who are wondering why environment is having such a high weightage, sometimes more than the polity, economy, subjects like that. Sometimes in some years, the weightage of environment is more than the core subject like polity, economy, geography, history, etc. Why it happens? The reason is UPSC is a body, is a constitutional body, if you know, right? And this body conducts different exams. There is exam for geoscientist, there is exam for medical officer. Such kind of different exams are conducted by UPSC. Out of that, two exams are very important. One is CSE, Civil Service Examination, for which all of you are preparing. And another is IFOS, Indian Forest Service Examination. For these both exam, prelims is common. Prelims is common exam for the CSE and IFOS. I guess you guys know it. So obviously, if the prelims is common, then what happens? Due to IFOS having a similar prelims, they ask more amount of environment question, because forest officer obviously should have a very detailed knowledge of environment and ecology. So that is the reason for high weightage for environment in prelims examination. Here, there is a distribution of the questions in different areas. So someone was asking what are the important areas. So obviously where the questions are highest, biodiversity, conventions, laws, pollution, agriculture, climate change, all these are the important areas. Here it is a graphical representation. I have also prepared a table for the ease of it. So these are the important areas from where the questions in PYQs are asked. If you see, the questions on biodiversity are a lot more than many other topics. Why? The reason is that there are questions on species in news on biodiversity. So you might have seen every year there are some question about different species. Sometimes it is marsupials, sometimes it is some other animal, like for example, nocturnal. There was a question about nocturnal habits and all. So these questions are in the biodiversity region, area. Therefore, the area seems to be having higher weightage. For your information, I have also included the mains. So in mains, you will find there is average 35 marks which are asked from the environment and ecology in GS3. But obviously, we will not discuss this in detail as today's session is more focused on prelims. Now, what are the lessons? Coming to the point. The important lessons are, see, first we are going through the basics of, for just to clarify, first we are going through all the important areas of your syllabus and PYQs, and then we will go to strategy. Because without knowing the syllabus and PYQs, the strategy you will not be able to make, right? Or you will not be able to understand the strategy. But now, by having clarity about the syllabus and understanding macro trends that are there in the PYQs, you can have some clarity which will help you understand the strategy. So strategy, we will be going ahead in maybe 15 minutes more. Before that, we will understand what are the lessons, right? Large picture from PYQs. First is, you can find two categories of questions in the environment, not just environment, actually in prelims itself for every subject. First category is standard or known sources. For example, let's take this question. First question, I don't remember the state of this paper. UPSC 2024. Last year's prelims. Last year prelims question. This is a question about which you will find in every book. You pick the NCERT. So there is a heat calculations in the heat budget in geography, right? You take Shankar IAS publication environment book, you take PMF IAS publication environment book, you take any coaching, you take my own lecture of previous year, right? I teach environment. So if you see my previous year's lecture, everywhere you will find this question. So this is a question from standard or known sources. First category of question. You should not make any mistakes in this question. Second category of questions is what we call unpredictable questions. So the source of this is not clear. For example, no one in the world predicted that in the prelims 2023, this question will be asked about the nocturnal animals, right? No one in the world predicted the question about these cicada, frog hopper, and pond skater will be asked, right? Obviously, if you know it, you know it. Otherwise, it's very difficult to prepare for these questions. Let's be honest. For especially those who have given the prelims examination, you might have realized this. You didn't qualify the prelims because there were difficult questions or because there were unpredictable questions. You didn't qualify the prelims because you made mistakes in the standard or known source questions. It might be silly mistake, it might be you didn't remember in the exam hall, it might be your revision was not enough, but whatever happens, the reason is the standard questions. For example, I will give you example. Let's say the cutoff is 85 marks, for example, 85 marks, and you scored, let's assume, 79 marks. Chalo, 79 marks, right? So around 6 marks deficit is there. So if you have solved 3 more questions correctly, you could have cleared prelims, right? In this scenario. Now, especially those who have given attempt, answer this, and those who have not given any attempt, please ask your seniors, please ask your friends whoever have given any attempt, ask them what was your score and what was prelims cutoff, and then ask them second question. Tell me how many questions were there in your paper which were from standard sources, which you knew but you did silly mistakes or you were not able to solve for some reason. And I will always guarantee you it will be more than this gap. So the gap is of 6 marks, and the number of questions which the person made wrong from standard sources are more than 6 marks of worth. This always happens. You can cross verify it for yourself. You can verify it with the seniors who have given the examination. And if you ask the people who have cleared exam what worked for them, they too will say that they made sure that none of the questions which are from random source, they didn't worry about that, about the questions which are from random source. But all the questions which are from standard or known source, they made sure that it was correct. Got it? Are you guys with me till now? Yes, no? Perfect. Now, the most important thing now. Prepare this very thoroughly and don't worry about it. The problem is that students worry about these questions a lot and forget to prepare this. And in examination hall, they prepare based on this. For example, next time the question will be about something else. Next time they will ask a question about, let's say, which of the following fish sleep in a day, for example, right? So you cannot predict questions which are of the second category, which are unpredictable. Therefore, your focus should be entirely on making sure that you have absolute clarity about the basic sources. You should have absolute clarity about the NCERTs. You should have absolute clarity about the standard sources. And don't worry about these questions. So what to do? If not to worry, then what to do? Two things. First is prepare current affairs. So what will happen? Some of these questions will have some motivation in current affairs. So you will be able to solve some question from current affairs. Prepare current affairs from environment perspective. How to do? We will discuss it. Don't worry. In the strategy, we will discuss. Second is ignore. Right? Once you prepare basic current affairs, beyond that, don't go into details of, let's say, this question was asked in 2023. So I will do detailed analysis of lion-tail macaw. What is lion-tail macaw, where it lives, and all those things. That is not feasible because there are thousands of species. You cannot possibly prepare all the species. Therefore, you need to have that courage. Ki I will prepare only the part which is from static portion, because ultimately the cutoff will be decided on the difficulty level of the paper. If the paper is too difficult, if there are too many random questions, no one will be able to solve it. Cutoff will go down. We will see it in next slide itself. Therefore, don't worry about this second kind of question. You can just prepare it basic from current affairs. Beyond that, don't give time to it. Don't waste your time here. In actual examination hall, you can solve it if you have some commonsensical knowledge, if you have some understanding of the topic. You can answer the question. I am not saying ki don't answer the question in actual exam hall. You can answer. You can have a general knowledge. I will show you some ways to solve such kind of question. But beyond that, don't waste a lot of time preparing such kind of questions, which are very random, which are very difficult to prepare. Right? Can you prepare all the species of birds or fish or insects or reptiles? Obviously not. You will not be able to do that. Therefore, don't worry about these topics. Focus more on this. Your life will be sorted. Okay, FOMO में नहीं रहना है. Most of the people live in FOMO, and even coachings will give you FOMO, unfortunately. कि आप ये नहीं करोगे तो नहीं होगा, हमारा कोर्स कर लो, I will cover you everything for you, you don't have to worry, just depend on my lecture. Such kind of things create a FOMO in your mind, कि fear of missing out, कि people are doing something extra than I am doing. No one is doing any extra, and your brain have a limited capacity. So make sure that you use that capacity, you use your brain power, you use your energy, and most importantly, time. You don't have infinite time to prepare for this exam. You have a limited time. So within that limited time, make sure that you have minimum sources, maximum revisions. So fix your syllabus and sources, revise them multiple times. Okay. This will unburden you a lot. See, the most important quality that is required in prelims is temperament. We will discuss it shortly. But this type of question burdens you a lot. If you see the PYQs, you see, yaar, there are these questions. Out of 18 questions, many a times 8 or 9 questions are like this. If half the questions are like this, what I should do? That will burden you a lot. And if you are burdened, if your temperament is not right, no matter how much you study in examination hall, there will be a problem, right? Take example of our great batter, cricketer, Virat Kohli. Great batsman, right? Fantastic. Unbeatable record, right? Many say that कि सचिन तेंदुलकर के all record विराट कोहली तोड़ सकते हैं, right? But what is happening in Australia right now? Why it is happening? And most importantly, the single bowler is making him out every time. Last 4-5 times only Boland have taken his wicket, right? And every time on same ball, right? He is trying to play the same shot and same type of ball and getting out. Why? Because he's anxious. He want to make sure that I don't get out on this ball, and that's where he gets out, right? So what is the problem with Virat right now? Is there a problem with technique? No, he is the best cricketer in the world. Is there a problem with guidance? He has a lot of guidance available in the world, right? Is the problem with understanding the game? Obviously not. No one can challenge Virat's understanding of the game. What is the problem? Problem is temperament, right? So that is what matters in prelims examination. To have this clarity that what I have to prepare and what I have to leave will help you build that temperament for the exam. Now, lessons from PYQs. Second, difficulty level. If you see the last 10 years paper, you will find around 28% of the questions are easy, 22% are hard, 50% are medium. So this should be the no-brainer. This question you should be 100% sure, right? This 28% of the questions, you should not be making any mistakes in this question, right? So if you consider a environment paper of 100 marks, you should be able to solve 28 questions very easily without any problem. Out of the 50 remaining questions, you should be able to solve at least 30 to 35 or 40 questions. And out of this hard, you should be able to get at least 4-5 questions correct, right? So if you see the total composition, you'll find 28, 35 and 5. So 35, 40, 70 plus questions. So this 70 plus question you should be able to make correct. When you will be able to do this? If you have absolute clarity about the basics, right? Now, let's discuss the cutoff versus difficulty level. I will just simply plot the cutoffs of different years from 2016, 17, 18 up to 2023. 24 cutoff is not yet out, so I will not include it in analysis. So if you see 2016, the cutoff was somewhere around 116 marks. Then it fall to 106 marks, right? 2017. In 18, it was 98. In 19, it was 92. Again, it was 92. Then it fell to 87. And then it fell to 75. So if you analyze the cutoffs of last few years, these are the cutoffs. Am I right? Have you seen the cutoffs of UPSC prelims in last few years? If you see the difference, 116 and 75. The difference is 25 and 16, 41 marks. Can you imagine the difference? 41 marks ka difference hai सीधा सीधा. Such a big difference in cutoff. If you see the paper, you will realize this was a, let's say this is easy and this is hard. So you will find 2016 paper was very, very easy. Then it was little hard, little hard, little hard. And 2023 paper is considered as the most difficult paper in the history of UPSC. Before current paper, 24 happened year up before that. This year's cutoff is not yet out, therefore I have not included in the analysis. Have you understood the simple pattern? The more difficult the paper is, the cutoff will be that low. 75. So if you just imagine, let's say you solve only the questions which are 100% sure. Even if you solve 40 questions, you will get 80 marks. Out of 100 questions, just 40% of the questions and you will be able to clear the cutoff for the simplification of the analysis. Now, now here the temperament matters. How? Let's do a simple exercise. Close your eyes. Everyone please close your eyes and follow what I'm saying. Okay, just close your eyes and follow whatever I'm saying. Have you closed your eyes? Okay. Now imagine you are in an examination hall. It's a scorching heat. The paper is in May, so there is a lot of heat outside. You are sitting in an examination hall. You are already a little tensed because obviously everything is on the line. You are trying to be as calm as possible, but still little anxious. Okay. The examiner comes in the hall, start to distribute the paper. You get your paper. The clock is ticking, and it's time 9:30 a.m. You are asked to open the paper. You open the paper. Still very nervous. You read the first question, and it's very difficult question. Something like which of the following are nocturnal species, and you have obviously no clue about it. You are like, okay, it's okay. You go to next question. Already you are anxious. Next question also you don't know. Your anxiety increase. Third question again, little difficult. Your anxiety further increases. Fourth, you have not even heard the term that is asked in the fourth question. You are like, gaya mera attempt. पूरे साल की मेहनत बर्बाद. Fifth questions, you know something about it, but you are not confident at all to solve that question. So you skip it. Sixth question, you are very confident. Oh, I have read it. I have read it. You solve it. The paper is over. You realize the sixth question, which you are most confident about, is wrong. Now open your eyes. How many of you can visualize this? I want you to visualize this today, because if you visualize it today, you will not repeat in the examination hall. Can you visualize it? It might have happened with you in the mock test. Those of you who have already given the exam, this might have happened with you in the examination hall. Not necessarily on question number 1. It can happen on question number 15 or question number 85, whatever it is. But can you visualize this happening? Right? Praveen, Zelam are saying it happened with them. Right? Now, why it is happening? Because you are not having a right temperament in examination hall. If your temperament is right, what will be your thought? Imagine alternate scenario where your temperament is very good. You have studied nicely. You have studied the basic books nicely. You read question number 1. You see, oh, this question is very random. And I know if the question is random, the cutoff will drop. I don't have to worry. You are smiling. Everyone around you is anxious. People are thinking, ये क्या पागल है क्या? इतना difficult paper और ये हंस रहा है. लगता है paper difficulty paper देख के पागल हो गया. This is something the people might think around you because they are all tensed. You come to next question. Again, the question is very random. You are like, oh, very nice. Cutoff will fall further. You come to fifth question. Oh, I know something about this question. You use your own logic. Either you solve it in the first round or you keep it for the second round. Sixth question. You are very confident. You are calm. You read the question carefully. You don't do any silly mistake and mark the option correctly. This is the alternate scenario. Here also paper is equally difficult, but here your mind is in right position. Your temperament is correct. You know that the questions are difficult. They are difficult for everyone. These are not from the standard source, and it is not humanly possible for UPSC aspirant to prepare the questions which are random. No one can prepare for them. If they could have prepared, the cutoff would not go this low, right? So if you have this clarity in mind, you will not do silly mistakes in examination hall. And moreover, examination hall to abhi 5 mahine dur hai. Moreover, today when you are preparing, you will be confident about preparing only the standard sources and revising maximum times rather than running behind every Tom, Dick, and Harry that is suggesting random sources to you. Okay, got it? Am I making sense to you guys? Yes, no? Let me know in chat box so I will know, okay, I'm going in right direction, right? Perfect. Very good. Let's move ahead. Next lesson here, what are the common themes? What are the common themes that are there in the UPSC prelims examination? Basics of ecology. Here the questions are asked on the very basic terms, like for example, what is ecotone, age, species, and all these terms which are very basics. You will find it in any book, right? Book list we will be discussing, don't worry. Second theme is biodiversity, diversity of living organisms. Here also, a significant questions are asked. Mainly, the questions are divided into species, protected areas, right, etc., which I have mentioned separately also, right? Next is pollution. Okay, pollution can be obviously it is a UPSC level question, so obviously they will not ask you a very basic question. You need to have some understanding of the depth of pollution. What is biological oxygen demand? What is chemical oxygen demand? What are the laws related to pollution in India? What are the different ways to measure pollution? For example, what is AQI? What is sulfur? All these things you should be knowing. Okay. Climate change. What is climate change? What are the different forms of climate change? For example, forms like uh, ozone layer depletion. It is one of the related concept. Ocean acidification, melting of ice. All these things you should know. Next is environmental legislations. What are the laws that are related to environment in India? For example, environment impact assessment is one of the tools, right? You should know Environment Protection Act, Wildlife Protection Act, right? Then there is forest related acts, right? For example, FRA, Indian Forest Policy, all these things. So all the laws that are related to environment, Wildlife Protection Act, I have already included. These are all the laws that are important. And if you analyze the PYQs, you will realize almost every year there is one question which is on laws, which is very easy question most of the times. Next is international efforts. What are the efforts that are happening at international level? For example, UNFCCC, UNCCD, right? Then CBD, Convention on Biological Diversity, and many more. So you should know the international efforts which are related to the environment and ecology. Fortunately, all these things are covered very nicely in the standard books. We will discuss the book list, but they are covered very nicely in the standard books. Okay. Just to confirm, is there any background noise from my end? Because there is some noise outside. I can hear it. Perfect. Very good. So these are the important themes which comes out from the PYQs. Okay. Now, obviously, I have given you a theme, but to what depth they are asked? To what depth? How you will know? By micro analysis of each of the questions. So micro analysis, obviously, I have told you already, you have to do the micro analysis by yourself. Next is focus on basics. This is a prelims 2024 question, last year's prelims. Which of the following shows unique relationship with insect that has co-evolved with it and is the only insect that can pollinate this tree? See this diagram. See this paragraph. This is just from ecology NCERT. Okay. Direct question from ecology NCERT. And not this, not just this question. Every year in prelims, you will find around 15 to 20 questions across all subjects, not just environment, across all subjects, which are directly from the basic. But it means you don't have to even apply your logic. You read the question and you need the answer. You know the answer. It is with the picture, right? Fixed flower. Okay. So 15-20 question, you don't have to even apply your mind. Such a direct questions are there. But provided that when you will be able to answer these questions? Only when you have gone through the basic books multiple times, you have revised them thoroughly. Many people will read all other sources, will depend on the coaching on teachers and will forget to read the basics. Okay, so the important lesson here is focus on the basics. Got it? Next is use common sense. See, all the questions you cannot prepare, but there are some questions every year in the paper. Again, you will find around 8 to 10 questions, 15 questions, 20 questions where you can use common sense fully or partially. Take this example. What is the, which of the following statement describes the carbon fertilization? This is the actual paper that this is the first time that I cleared prelims, 2018 prelims, right? So this is the paper that I actually gave in examination hall. I was not knowing what is carbon fertilization, but I will tell you what logic I use. I use the simple logic. Fertilization. I know the word fertilizer. So obviously fertilization means something related to fertilizer. I know what is fertilizer. Fertilizer are chemicals or substances which are given to plant to improve their productivity. To improve the productivity. I know this, right? Fertilizers are used to improve the productivity. This I know. Now, if I know it is to improve the productivity, carbon fertilization must be related to something related to productivity. Let's look at the option. Adaptation of living being on Earth, climate change brought by the, obviously this is not the answer. Increased acidity of the ocean. So this is the definition of ocean acidification. So obviously this is not the correct answer. Increased temperature of the earth due to increased concentration of carbon dioxide. This is the definition of global warming. Right? So obviously this is not the answer. Increased plant growth. Obviously to improve productivity. Productivity improvements, plant growth improve. So fertilization I know, improve plant growth. Due to increased concentration of CO2, carbon. So obviously this is the option that is correct. So I can easily mark the answer A and be happy that this is the correct option. Got it? Yes, no? Okay. I'm not saying you can solve entire paper by common sense. But in the examination hall, you can find 10, 11, 12 questions where you can apply common sense. In some question fully, here you get the direct answer. In some question, you will be able to eliminate one or two options. Okay. This is another example. This is from 2024 prelims. Okay. Which of the following are considered as the distributed energy sources? Distributed means which are not at one place. First of all, if you take a power plant, what is happening? So let's say this is a district, entire district, and here is a power plant. So what happens? The energy is produced at this place, and then it is distributed at in entire district. So this is not distributed. This is at one place. The opposite of this will be distributed, where the energy source is at different places. So which can be different places? Battery storage. See, battery storage is very distributed. I have two phones. The battery is at two different places, right? इसकी बैटरी अलग जगह पे, इसकी अलग जगह पे. Similarly, laptop की बैटरी अलग जगह पे. So obviously, it is very common sense that battery storage is distributed. It is not at one place. So this is correct. Biomass generator. Again, biomass generation happens at a small scale. It is not like power plant. Fuel cells. Again, fuel cells means, let's say hydrogen car use fuel cell, right? Cells are used in your clocks, watches, right? Everywhere there are cells. See, again, these are distributed. Rooftop solar photovoltaic. Again, rooftop. It is individual household. So there will be one project here, one here, one there, one here, one there. So it is again distributed. Again, this is a common sensical answer. All four will be correct. Got it? Yes, no? Okay. See, we are not here discussing the concept of distributed energy source and all. The point is that there will be question in examination hall which you can solve just by using your common sense. Got it? Perfect. Next is observational skill. You need to observe your surrounding. This is a question about chewing gum. I will not go into detail of this question. We are already a little late. We also have to discuss some strategy. But after the paper, after the session, try to solve this question. Again, this question is something which you have seen in your life. You might have chewed the chewing gum. You might have seen someone split the chewing gum. And using that observation, you can attempt to solve this question. Okay. Now coming to the strategy. What should be your strategy? So strategy have different parts to it. How to approach your subject, what should be the sources, and what should be the strategy for current affairs. So first thing, strategy, first point is you should have absolute command over two things, PYQs and syllabus. This is non-negotiable. Okay. Then coming to the book list, what should be the sources? First is static. What should be your static source? So there are two sources for static. First is environment and ecology, four chapters, which are given in the 12th biology NCERT. Okay, we will share it with you. If you don't have, we will share it on the Telegram channel. So 4 chapter of 12th bio NCERT. This is the first source. Second source for static is either PMF IS or Shankar IS. Both are good sources. You can pick PMF or Shankar. अपनी अपनी श्रद्धा है. आपकी श्रद्धा PMF पे है तो PMF फॉलो करो, शंकर पे है तो शंकर फॉलो करो. That is up to you. Okay. This is a static current affairs. For current affairs, you can follow either monthly magazines or you can follow newspaper, right? Or newspaper, or both. That is up to you. But current affairs, you should be not ignoring in environment. How to do current affairs, I will discuss. But this is the sources that you should follow. Those of you who want to join some course, you can check out our Prelims 360 course. This is a good course where we are covering everything in entirety. Obviously not compulsory. If you can self-study, not an issue. But if you think you need to join some course where you will have some guidance, you can check this Prelims 360 course. In this course, I teach the environment thoroughly from basics to the advanced level. Along with that, I will try to equip you to be ready for examination. I will not give you ready-made answers. I will help you do the work. वो जो हम साइकिल का एग्जांपल ले रहे थे, if you want to learn bicycling, you have to sit on the cycle and move the pedal. No one else can do it for you. But if you join this course, I will ensure that I am there to hold your career, so that you don't fall. Or in case if you fall, I am there to lend my hand to you. Not just me, but the entire team of UPSCprep.com. Any which way, that is up to you. This is the sources that you should follow. Out of this PMF and Shankar, which should you follow? That is up to you. अपने अपनी श्रद्धा है. अगर आपने शुरू नहीं किया है, you don't have any source till now, so PMF is a better option. Why? Because PMF have a better diagrams. There are colorful diagrams, and I believe that through diagrams you learn better. That is the only difference between PMF and Shankar, in my opinion. Rest is up to you whether to go with PMF or Shankar. Okay. Now, should you cover PMF or Shankar cover to cover? Obviously not, because those are very bulky book and there is a lot of information in that. So how to cover PMF or Shankar? Go through PYQs and syllabus, and accordingly cover those topics which are either in PYQs or in syllabus. You can skip those topics which are not in both of the places or which are very specific or random. Okay. And if you are in my course, obviously I will be telling you what to cover and what not to cover if you are in the course. Otherwise, these are the guiding lights, PYQs and syllabus. Okay. Now, what should be your basic strategy? First thing is that, as I already clarified, you should have absolute clarity about your PYQs and syllabus. Second thing is that choose your source and fix on it. Don't run behind multiple sources. If you choose PMFIS, so PMF plus NCERT, stick to it. Don't run behind multiple sources. Minimum source, max revisions. So rather than reading 4 different books, read one book 4 times. You might have heard that quote by Bruce Lee, that I don't fear a person who tries 100 different kicks. I fear a person who tries or who practices one kick 100 times. Right? So iteration is important in UPSC CSA. Now, how to approach? First step is prepare the basics. Prepare the basics. These basics will be prepared from NCERT plus POF or Shankar. So this is the first thing. Second thing is you should have a good command or mapping. Many of you are aware of the mapping in geography, but mapping is equally important for environment and ecology. What you should do in mapping? You should do mapping of national parks or wildlife sanctuaries or Ramsar sites or what are biosphere reserves. So all these, what I will say, protected sites in short. So there are different types of protected site. It can be national park, wildlife sanctuary, right? Then it can be Ramsar site, biosphere reserve. Now you will say, sir, if you calculate the number is easily more than 1000. So shall I prepare all these? Obviously not. You should prepare selectively. There should be two criteria to prepare. What are two criteria? First, those are important. There are some sites which are inherently important. For example, if you go to the Pench National Park, which is very important, Gir National Park, which is in Gujarat, very important. So those which are very important, Chilika Lake, which is a Ramsar site in Odisha. So these are the important sites you should know. How you will know important, which are important through these basic books. You will come across these important sites in basic books. You will find their mention in NCERT or PMF. Okay. Second criteria is in news. So if there is any site which is in news, you should know their location. Okay. Got it? Second is you should know apart from, so what you should know? You should know their location. You should know which are the important species that are found there. You should know what is the climatic condition in that area. Right? Yes or no? So if a forest is in, for example, Kerala, it is most probably a evergreen, tropical evergreen forest. If it is in Madhya Pradesh, it will be a deciduous forest. So such kind of things you should know. Next is, so this is about mapping. Next is you should have in-depth understanding of current affairs. Current affairs we are going to discuss separately. So let that point be there for some. I will write it current affairs. Okay. Apart from that, you should know the environmental issues. Environmental issues, especially those which are in news. For example, daily air pollution, right? Climate change, right? Then issues like ocean acidification, ozone layer depletion, all these issues that you should know. You should know what are the national efforts to tackle these issues. You should know what are the international efforts to tackle these issues. You should know what is the issue in these efforts. For example, there can be issue related to finance. Okay. And lastly, you should know what are the important laws related to environment. We have already discussed the list of laws in one of the previous slides. So this is the basic strategy. No hi-fi strategy. Many people will unnecessarily complicate. This is a very straightforward subject. Just focus on the basic. Just focus on these things. Don't go beyond these running behind random sources. Make sure that you go and give enough attention to these things. Okay. This is international finance. International finance. In international finance related to environment. Now, how to prepare current affair? See, current affair again is very easy for environment. First is important species in news. So you should know the species which are in news. You should know their location of a species. You should know their habitat. You should know which are the national park in which that species is found. You should know its IUCN status, and you should know behavioral patterns. If there are some unique or rare behavioral patterns in that particular species. You should know that. So you can just simply prepare a Excel file, a table in Excel with this is serial number, right? Name of the species, right? Why in news, then location, right? Then location and habitat, you can just have single column for location plus habitat. Okay. Then what are the national parks where it is found, right? Then what is the IUCN status? And lastly, what is the behavior? So here there will be behavior. So you can prepare such a table, and whatever species of animals you come across, write it down. Prepare only those species which are here. Apart from that, don't go, because there are thousands of millions of species. You cannot possibly prepare all those. So prepare only those which are in news, and especially those are in news frequently. So this is about important species. Next is about important protected areas in news. We have already discussed it in the mapping. So map them, right? Then you should know important environmental conferences or summits. So any conference or summit that is happening, you should know what is the latest happening in that. For example, UNFCCC is an important convention, right? Every year there is a COP of UNFCCC, Conference of Parties. So you should know what is the outcome of latest COP. Okay. Then you should know any important reports or findings that are there related to environment. For example, recently India State of Forest Report was published, right? Do you know India State of Forest Report? India State of Forest. So you should know the basic of it, who publishes it, the static portion, who publishes it, what is the frequency of publication, and so on. And you should know what are the current findings of this report. Okay, so this is the simple framework to prepare the current affairs for environment and ecology. Moving ahead, these are the broad divisions of topic that you can find. We have already discussed this division. Now, with this, the environment general strategy is over. Now, let's talk about some general principles related to UPSC prelims examination. So, if you see, there are some general pain points in UPSC CSE, especially in prelims, that you lack effective revision strategies. I already told you. In the subjects like environment, not just environment actually, for prelims, you need to have a limited resource and you need to revise them multiple times so that in actual examination hall, you are solving all the questions which are from their static portion, right? Yes or no? For example, polity, you should be able to solve all the questions from polity. But for you to solve all the questions from static portion, you need to ensure that you are giving it multiple revisions. You should have focused practice, that is daily solving some question, giving periodic tests. This should be done. You should have a command over PYQs, right? Then you should make sure that you are not sidetracked by the irrelevant topic and trend. The most important problem is that many students take a lot of hard work, but the hard work is in wrong direction. You need to have a right direction. Let's take simple example. Here is a vehicle, right? इस vehicle का fuel खत्म हो गया. Fuel खत्म हो गया. Now there are 4 people in this vehicle. They got down. 2 लोग यहाँ पे खड़े इस साइड उसको पुश कर रहे हैं. 2 लोग यहाँ पे खड़े इस साइड पुश कर रहे हैं. Will the vehicle move जगह से? Obviously not. You should know that the direction of the force is right. If you don't give the force in right direction, you will reach nowhere. So you need to make sure that you are very focused and your energy is focused to the cause that you are looking for. Next is lack of discipline, consistency, and structure in your preparation. Many of you lack the structure. You should have a structure in your preparation. There should be proper plan, proper structure. Now, to deal with all these things, we run a course which is a prelims 360 course. See, I'm not saying join this course. If you are able to solve these pain points by yourself, very good. You don't need coaching for UPSC CSE to reiterate your. But the problem is that many of the people are not able to do this by themselves. आप खुद से नहीं कर पाते. So if you are not able to do it by yourself, you can consider getting external help. And one of the option of that external help is our course. Here are the features of this course: complete coverage, CSAT, live. We get access for 3 years. We will include the PYQ analysis in the course itself, right? There is a structured strategies, and one of the best thing is we follow the schedule. You will get the schedule in the beginning of the course, and barring some exceptions, all the schedule will be followed on time. So you will now know what to prepare in April. Today, you will know what to do on 3rd April. So that precise planning we will be doing in the course structure, right? Then comprehensive mentorship will be for prelims. Those of you who clear the prelims, we will give the mentorship extension till mains without any additional cost. Prelim strategy sessions will be there. There are 45 prelims tests which are included in this course. No additional cost. All the tests are available. DPQs are provided after every lecture. Then we provide workbooks for CSAT, because CSAT, the most important problem in CSAT is people don't have a authentic source to practice CSAT. Therefore, we have designed a workbook which contains theory as well as lot of practice questions. Then there is a current affairs coverage, right? Now the question is, many coaching will provide this in some form or other. Why to choose UPSC Prep? First is we have proven track record. We run this Prelims 360 course for now 4th year is of this course, and every year thousands of students are able to clear this prelims examination by this course. We get the review from after the exam that this course was a very good driving factor in helping them clear examination. I am saying helping them clear examination. We don't clear prelims for you. I will never claim that कि हम आपको prelims clear करवा देंगे. But हम हमारे इनसे जो मैक्सिमम पॉसिबल हेल्प है वो कर सकते हैं. ठीक है. The content is accessible for 3 years. In case unfortunately if you are not able to clear the prelims, you don't have to purchase the course again for next year. You can use the same course next year in the recorded format. Mentorship will be there, structured approach, and most importantly, honesty and integrity. We at UPSC Prep take honesty and integrity very seriously. We will not make any false claim. We will not claim that we will do it for yourself. You will have to do the hard work. We are only the enablers, right? Ultimately, it is your hard work. You will have to take the mehnat. We can only help you in achieving your dream.